Welcome, you, the awakening soul, the one listening right now not by accident, but because the universe has guided you here. Something is about to be revealed to you tonight, a truth powerful enough to still your heart and change the way you see yourself forever. Can you feel it? The air around you shifting ever so slightly, your heartbeat slowing down, your spirit leaning in, ready to listen. Because sometimes the most important messages don't come from the outside world. They rise softly from the quiet within. So, take a seat. Take a slow, deep breath. Because in just a moment, you'll understand why the universe chose this exact moment to call your name. Aries, sometimes life doesn't shout at us through chaos. It whispers. It comes as a feeling, vague, yet powerful, as if something deep inside you is gently unfolding before your mind can name it. Maybe you've felt that pull lately, a soft but undeniable calling, like a quiet wind, brushing through your soul, leaving behind a strange mix of peace and restlessness. When the universe wants to speak to you, it doesn't send a letter or a message. It speaks through subtle vibrations in your heartbeat, in your breath, in the dreams that linger long after you wake. And right now, those signals surround you, silent but steady, like waves of energy kissing the shores of your spirit. Can you feel it? That stillness of early morning when light hasn't yet pierced the mist, but you know the sun is coming. It carries a kind of power words can't describe. Your life is at that exact moment between an ending and a beginning. Everything may seem paused, but in truth, the universe is quietly rearranging every detail. The people you've met, the things you've lost, the doors that close for reasons you didn't understand, they were all sacred pieces of a greater pattern. Nothing was wasted. Not a single tear fell without planting a seed of wisdom. Remember, the universe never punishes you. It only redirects your path, guiding you back to the truth of who you really are. Every loss is simply the clearing of space for something more honest to appear. And if you're hearing these words right now, it's not random. Your soul is ready to hear the call from the source itself. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your breath sink deep into your chest. Allow yourself to stop just for now. You don't have to force understanding. You don't need to control anything. Simply trust that everything unfolding has meaning. Because sometimes, before light appears, darkness needs its moment of stillness. You've walked through sleepless nights, days that felt endless, moments when hope was just a whisper. But it's in those quiet spaces that your strongest seeds were born. Like a small seed cracking open in the dark earth, breaking apart just to reach the light you are in, that sacred cracking now. The moment of your soul's awakening. What's coming isn't a storm meant to destroy you, it's a wind meant to wake you up. Everything is starting to move again slowly but with purpose. And when it does, you'll understand truth never comes from the outside. It's always been in your own heart, learning how to listen to itself. If your heart feels uncertain right now, don't run from it. That confusion is a signal your soul whispering, it's time. Time to step beyond the old limits. Time to stop doubting your intuition. Time to stop running from what you already know inside. Because not every change begins with noise. Sometimes it begins with a silence so deep you can finally hear the voice of your own spirit. And in that silence, something miraculous is forming. The first signs of awakening. They're not loud yet, not bright yet, but they're spreading softly through every space around you, like faint light breaking through the last veil of rain. When your mind grows still enough, you'll begin to notice. Something wants your attention, a number that keeps repeating, a song that plays at the perfect moment, a familiar face in a crowd. Nothing is coincidence. Every sign is a whisper. Look closer. Don't ignore this. Your life is rewriting its rhythm now, not with noise, not with haste, but with a quiet strength that moves like grace. And if you dare to trust those signs, you'll see it clearly. What you thought was an ending was only the beginning of a brand new light. Right here, in this very breath, something unseen is already moving slowly, gently, but strong enough to change the course of your entire story. Sometimes, life makes us believe we're falling into darkness, when in truth, we're simply being guided closer to our own light. Maybe you've felt it, that strange season when everything starts to crack. People who once felt close begin to drift away. Plans you trusted slip through your fingers like sand. You try to hold on, but everything keeps moving beyond your reach. And you ask, why? But look deeper. Maybe this isn't collapse. Maybe it's transition. The universe is clearing away what has grown too small for your spirit, making room for something higher, clearer, more alive. Like a forest after a fire, only weeks later, tiny green shoots begin to rise from the blackened earth, carrying new life. That's the beauty of it. Sometimes the most painful destruction is simply preparation for your next bloom. You once thought rejection meant failure. But maybe it was the universe whispering, no, this isn't your path. You once felt abandoned when someone walked away, but what if they were only meant to awaken you and leave once their purpose was complete? No one enters your life by accident, and no one leaves without teaching you something you needed to know. In your lost days, you might forget that the universe is never silent. It speaks through signs, through synchronicities, through the quiet intuition that only hearts truly listening can hear. A song plays at the perfect moment, its lyrics answering a question you've buried inside. You open a random page in a book and find exactly the words you needed. A stranger meets your gaze, and for a second, it feels as though their soul recognizes yours from another time, another life. This is the language of the universe, a language the mind can't understand, but the heart always does. And if you're listening right now, it means you've begun to hear with your heart. Don't fear the quiet days. Don't hate the emptiness. Because in the silence, your soul is blooming. You may not see it yet, but every broken piece is gently finding its place again, like a bird returning home after the storm. Every storm has its purpose. It comes to wash away the dust from your spirit, so that when the sun returns, you can finally see yourself clearly again. No one can avoid the storm, but everyone can choose how to stand in it. You can scream against the rain, or you can listen and hear the rhythm of life pulsing beneath the chaos. Here's the miracle. Sometimes the very thing that breaks your heart is the thing that brings you back to truth. The truth that you are stronger than you believed. That no loss ever truly leaves you empty. It only creates space for light to enter. If you let your mind release its fear, you'll begin to see what this chaos is really teaching you. Trust. Trust that everything is unfolding with purpose. Trust that no one can take away what was written for you. Trust that sometimes you don't have to do anything at all, just stand still and let the universe do its part. And when you trust like that, you start to notice the signs, a beam of light cutting through the smoke, a small but promising opportunity rising from what seemed lost, a sense of calm that appears from nowhere, telling you quietly, maybe everything will be okay. And it will be. Things are settling, not loudly, but gently, like dawn slipping through the window after a long night. You don't need to see the whole road, just have the courage to take the next step in that soft, uncertain light. One day, when you look back, you'll understand those chaotic days were never punishment. They were invitations to be more honest, more free, more you. And when you accept that invitation, when you walk through the fog and step into the light beyond it, you'll find yourself standing in a new vibration, a place where light and shadow meet, where the old world and the new collide, and your soul finally learns how to be reborn. Sometimes, the real collision doesn't happen outside of you, it happens within, quiet, powerful, and impossible to avoid. There's a battle no one else can see, but you know exactly how long it's been going on between the part of you that just wants to be accepted and the part that refuses to live any way other than true. Inside you there are two currents. One longs for harmony to be loved, and the other burns for freedom to be fully alive. And now, those two can no longer exist apart. They're colliding, like two mighty rivers meeting in the open sea, loud, turbulent, yet profoundly sacred. You've held your tongue to keep the peace. You've stayed small so others wouldn't feel diminished by your light. You've bent yourself to fit into places too small for your soul. But each time you did, a little piece of your brilliance faded. You thought you were being kind, but really, you were just learning how to disappear. Until one day, your soul said, "Enough." It started knocking harder and harder against your chest, as if to remind you, remember who you are. That's the moment of energetic collision when the old self no longer fits, but the new self hasn't fully formed. It's that strange in-between, where fear and excitement live side by side, where loss and rebirth share the same breath. In that sacred tension, everything inside you is being rewritten. Like a crystal shattered into pieces, each shard begins to catch and reflect the light in a new way. Pain was never sent to destroy you, it came to strip away everything that isn't truly you. When the old tower crumbles, you stand exposed, raw, trembling, but for the first time, you see yourself clearly, not through fear, not through expectation, but as you are. The ego dissolves, and the soul finally breathes. If it feels like the world is testing you, remember this isn't punishment, it's initiation. No one can step into the next chapter while still carrying the weight of old definitions. You, Aries, are being purified by fire, by tears, and by the silence of long nights. You've heard them say, "You're too much, too intense, too hard to love." But think about it, what if what they call too much is actually your greatest gift? The fire inside you wasn't made to be tamed, it was made to illuminate, to warm, to remind the world that light doesn't ask permission to shine. When you understand that, you stop fighting yourself. You stop apologizing for your power, and instead, you start living it fully, fiercely, and freely. Remember, Aries' strength isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's the quiet power to stay calm in the storm. It's knowing who you are, even when no one else does. It's choosing love instead of reaction, but never losing yourself in the process. This is your calling to step into your true authority, not through force, but through awareness. The deeper you go, the clearer it becomes. Everything you've ever needed was never out there. It's in your breath, it's in your heart, it's in the will you once forgot you had. Sometimes, miracles don't appear as fireworks, they appear as that quiet moment when you stop, apologizing for who you are. When you no longer shrink to make others comfortable, your light expands naturally without effort, without permission. You simply are, and the world adjusts to your frequency. And when that inner fire steadies no longer the flame of rebellion, but the flame of awareness, you'll notice something miraculous. The world around you softens. Doors once closed begin to open. The people who once hurt you become nothing more than old teachers, and their lessons turn into peace. Take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise, warm and alive. Every outer battle is over now because the real enemy was never someone else. It was the fear within you. And now, that fear is dissolving. A new world is taking shape inside you, one that doesn't need to fight to exist. A world built on awareness, not struggle. And in that awareness, you realize you are no longer who you were. You've entered the sacred space where life and spirit meet, where every action becomes a quiet prayer. And in that stillness, a question begins to echo softly in your chest. If all the power you've ever sought has always been inside you, what might happen when you finally believe in it? Sometimes life is like a great mirror. It doesn't reflect what you want to see, it shows you exactly who you're becoming. When you're angry, it brings you people and moments that test your patience. When you're afraid, it hands you experiences that force you to face that fear. And when you finally choose to trust, it begins to send you miracles. But before those miracles arrive, Aries, the universe often takes you through a raw journey, a season where there's nothing left to hold on to except faith. It's the time when you feel stripped bare, unseen, unsupported. And yet, it's right there, in that emptiness, where your true strength is born. Not the strength of muscle or voice, but the quiet strength of awareness. You realize you've been running too long, searching for something that was never gone, your inner light. No one can give you your worth because it was never taken away. No one can hand you safety because real peace doesn't depend on where you stand, but on how you stand, even in the storm. The magician appears before you now, a mirror of your own spirit, reminding you that everything you need is already in your hands, your mind, your heart, your will, your ability to act. All the sacred elements are within you. You just forgot how powerful you are. Like an artist who's forgotten their hands still remember the rhythm of creation. Your soul remembers how to shape reality. You only need to recall it. There's never a perfect moment to begin, there's only you, when you decide you're worthy of the beginning itself. Each time you act from faith instead of fear, you're sending out a signal to the universe. I'm ready. And the universe always responds to those who dare to say, to it. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need permission to shine. You don't need to be perfect before you start. Because magic doesn't come from what's outside you, it begins the moment you choose to believe in yourself. Maybe you thought you needed a sign, someone to guide you, a clear direction. But the truth is, you are the sign. Every breath, every heartbeat, every small intuition, they're all the map your soul designed long before you doubted. The greatest lesson of this chapter isn't about what you do, but who you become while doing it. You begin to understand. Real power isn't control, it's surrender. It isn't winning, it's knowing when to pause. It isn't proving, it's being at peace in silence. And when that shift happens, your energy changes. And when your energy changes, the world moves with it. People feel you're calm. They don't know why, but they're drawn to it. Opportunities appear not because you chase them, but because you've become magnetic to them. You stop asking, when will it come? Because deep down, you already know everything arrives when you're ready to receive it. If you're hearing these words right now, take a deep, steady breath. Let it sink all the way into your chest, where the dust of worry settles into stillness. Then you'll see it. You never had to become stronger. You only had to remember that you already were. True strength isn't something you find, it's something you recall. You were never weak. You just forgot how many times you've already risen. And if these words touch something inside you, maybe it's time to remember that moment, the one where you stood up when you thought you couldn't. Share that story, not for praise, but because somewhere out there, someone needs to know they can stand again too. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply telling the truth about how you rose. Not every miracle arrives with fireworks. Some come as softly as breath, as quietly as water seeping into the earth. They don't overwhelm you, they still you. They don't shout, they whisper peace into your heart. The first miracle is this: the moment you realize you no longer have to chase anything. For so long, you lived to the rhythm of fear, afraid of missing your chance, of falling behind, of not being enough. You believed happiness waited somewhere far ahead, that you'd finally feel complete once you achieved one more thing. But after running for so long, you grew tired. And when you finally stopped, something strange happened. Everything you'd been chasing began to find its way to you. True prosperity isn't the result of outworking others. It's the reward of a soul that's learned to trust the natural rhythm of life. When you stop forcing, the current of the universe begins to move freely again. Like a river that doesn't fight the rocks, but finds its way around them, you're learning to flow not through effort but through faith. Money, opportunity, work, meaningful relationships, they start appearing naturally. You no longer need to prove, to push, to exhaust yourself. When your energy shifts from lack to abundance, from worry to trust, the world rearranges itself to meet you there. Prosperity flows toward you like light finding the place where darkness no longer exists. Aries, this is the moment you see peace and prosperity were never separate journeys. They move together, like two notes forming the same harmony. When your mind is still, your actions are clear. When your heart is fearless, your decisions become powerful. Maybe you once thought, to earn more, I must struggle more. But now, you're witnessing another truth. Money doesn't come from pressure, it comes from purpose. When you act from gratitude, from joy, your energy becomes magnetic. You stop begging for luck because you've become the luck itself. Every day, you start noticing small shifts, a peaceful morning, a kind conversation that opens a door, an idea arriving at just the right time. None of it is random. Everything mirrors your new frequency, the frequency of trust. When you stop asking, when, stop comparing, and simply focus on sowing seeds, life blooms in its own time. You're learning the rare art of being patient without waiting, acting without fear, and that is the sign of a soul under divine protection. Look around you now, the signs are there. The message you were waiting for arrives. A friend from the past reaches out. An opportunity you thought was gone returns in a new form. Each moment is proof that the universe is responding not by coincidence, but by orchestration. This miracle isn't just about money, it's about freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from self-doubt, freedom from the need to shrink yourself to feel safe, freedom to create, to love, to live without asking permission. Let your heart be grateful. What you're receiving isn't merely material, it's energetic wisdom. True abundance never contradicts peace. The quieter you become, the stronger you get. The more grateful you are, the more you attract. And when your mind has found that calm, you'll sense a subtle shift within you. No longer need the world to prove your worth, because you've already seen it glowing in your own light. Your heartbeat slows, your smile softens, your breath deepens. You begin to understand that real wealth is living each day with the quiet, knowing that you already have enough, not because you have everything, but because you're thankful for everything you have. And in that stillness, when your heart grows silent and steady, another miracle begins to form, a gentle, tender energy, no longer here to test you, but to heal you. Because once the material world has come to peace, the universe knows the next gift you're ready for is love and truth. Not everyone in this lifetime gets to experience true love, the kind that grows you, not the kind that breaks you. For a long time, you believed love meant sacrifice, that to keep someone, you had to lose a part of yourself. You traded your peace just to keep a sense of belonging. But over time, through heartbreak and loss, you've come to see that some relationships don't arrive to stay. They arrive to show you who you are through the mirror of another. You once loved from fear, fear of being alone, of being left behind, of not being enough. So love turned into a kind of hiding, a place where you couldn't speak your truth, where you dimmed your own light to keep someone else comfortable. But real love doesn't come to make you smaller. It comes to open you. And to open, you must release what's old, the definitions, the attachments, the memories that kept your heart heavy. Now, something beautiful is happening. When you start to love yourself with compassion, when you stop judging your own heart, your energy begins to shift. And it's only then that love can find its way back to you. Not a love of impulse, not the fleeting kind that burns fast and fades, but a love that feels grounded and real, where two souls meet not to fill a void, but to expand together. That person might already be orbiting your world, a stranger's glance in a coffee shop, a voice that slows your heartbeat for just a second. Whether they've arrived or not, you already know you're ready. Because this time, you won't love from fear, you'll love from awareness. You won't twist yourself to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. When you love from fullness, love stops being a game of egos. It becomes a journey of two souls walking through pain, healing together, looking toward the same horizon. There's no need to control, no need to possess. You begin to understand that true love isn't, "I need you to be happy," but "I'm happy to share this life with you." And sometimes, the past returns not to reconnect, but to close the loop. You meet their eyes, smile softly, and say thank you. Because they taught you the lesson that no one else could. You never needed another person to feel complete. Forgiveness doesn't mean going back, it means freeing yourself from the weight of resentment. If someone new appears now, you'll feel it immediately. They won't make your heart race from anxiety, they'll calm it with safety. This love doesn't burn you, it warms you. It doesn't demand words, it simply is. Quiet, honest, real. And here lies the truth. You were never hard to love. You just placed your heart where it wasn't meant to stay. When you love yourself deeply, you begin to attract those who know how to love with kindness too. Aries, maybe it's time to tell your own love story, not the one about who left, but about how you found yourself through love's mirror. Can you feel it? The right person doesn't arrive to complete you. They come to reflect the wholeness that was already there. Take a few seconds in silence. Listen to your heart. What is it whispering? Perhaps in that quiet moment, you'll hear a gentle knock, something new, something warm, stepping softly into your life. And when your heart has healed, the miracle unfolds. You begin to see the world through the eyes of one who truly understands love. Love stops being a destination, it becomes the energy behind every word, every gesture, every breath you give. And one day, you'll realize, every lesson about love was leading you here to your purpose. Because when a heart learns to love fully, it also learns how to lead the soul home. Not everyone understands what it feels like to be a soul that has walked through every trial and still stands tall. That's not just strength, that's rebirth. Aries, you've endured nights with no light, moments when faith felt shattered, and now, you're not merely surviving. You've become someone new. In the quiet, something has changed. You no longer seek power outside yourself because you've discovered it within. When the Emperor appears in your journey, it's not a symbol of dominance, it's an invitation to lead from the heart. Leadership is no longer about control or conquest. It's the art of harmony with others, with life, and with yourself. Now, when you look back, you see that every wound, every fall, every loss has shaped you into a guide. You're no longer fighting for your ego, you're standing for the light. You've learned to listen before you speak, to understand before you act, to forgive before you judge. These are the qualities only souls who've been broken can carry. And because of that, you no longer need to prove anything. Your life itself is the proof. When you look at the world today, you don't see chaos anymore, you see lessons. Where others see endings, you see doors. Where others see failure, you see opportunities to understand yourself more deeply. Every experience becomes a mirror reflecting what still needs healing, what still longs to be seen. And so, instead of reacting to life, you begin to create. You no longer chase time, you move with the rhythm of your spirit. Every action has intention. Every word carries weight. Every decision rises from the stillness within you. The world may spin faster now, but you've learned how to walk slowly without being left behind. You understand that rushing only makes us lose our souls. So you move with awareness, steady, grounded, conscious. Amid the noise, you are the breath of calm. Amid the storm, you are the steady light. And in that light, you begin to see new doors opening, opportunities where once there was emptiness, illumination where there once was shadow. The universe doesn't reward perfection, it trusts authenticity. And after everything, you've become so real that nothing can make you lose your direction again. This is rebirth, not of the body, but of the spirit. You no longer seek to prove your worth, you are the worth. You no longer chase your purpose, because now you are the purpose. Everything you do, even the smallest act, carries the vibration of light. You've become the inspiration you once searched for. Aries. The world may not be ready for this version of you, powerful yet gentle, fierce yet compassionate, fiery yet at peace. But that no longer matters. Because you no longer live to be understood, you live to be true. And as you walk with that awareness, life begins to change its colors. The things that once frightened you now feel light. Old wounds soften into memories, reminders that you once loved deeply, that you once dared to live fully. And then, in the stillness of your soul, you notice something profound. Everything that once hurt you has led you back to gratitude. Every challenge, every heartbreak now feels like a gift wrapped in the paper of trial. You open each one, smile, and whisper, "Thank you for waking me." Rebirth doesn't come with thunder. It happens quietly, like dawn slowly turning the sky to gold. And when you finally touch that light, you realize, after everything, the only thing that remains is gratitude. A gratitude that needs no words, only a breath, a glance, a gentle smile. Let every sound around you fade away, until all that remains is the soft rhythm of your breath and the quiet smile of your heart. You've walked a long road not just to find the light, but to realize it was always within you. The storms once made you tremble, but now every scar has become the mark of a brave soul. You are no longer the one who feared, who wandered, who searched for answers in the dark. You are living proof that faith and love can turn every ruin into something beautiful. Now, there's no need to run anymore. Just live slowly, deeply, truthfully. Each breath is a prayer of gratitude. Each new day, a quiet blessing. Thank you, Aries, for allowing me to walk beside you on this path where light and shadow intertwine to tell the story of strength, compassion, and rebirth. May you be peaceful with every breath, radiant with every step, and surrounded by the blessings you so deeply deserve. A new dawn is waiting for you, warm, pure, and full of love.